Hello, welcome to this week's episode of Detroit Baseball Weekly. I'm your host, Gabe. This is my co-host, Isaac, as usual. Um, Isaac, how are you doing today?
I'm all right. Michigan's and Toledo, I guess, technically now, got like their first big snowstorm. Not snowstorm, but snow.
It snowed. Yeah, it did
Pretty
snow.
good. It snowed pretty good.
I wasn't overly happy with it, but that's the Midwest for you. So
Yeah, it'll probably be 90 in 2 days.
yeah, probably.
Not 90. Probably maybe like. Actually, I think it's supposed to be like not even 40 over the next couple days. That's cold.
The snow's probably gonna stay then.
Maybe. Probably.
That's
Well,
your
we'll see.
weather report. Now we're going to sports. There was a lot of cuts. Whole lot of people cut to make room for the injured players on the 40-man roster. Most notably was Victor Reyes. I'm kind of sad to see him go. What do you got on Reyes?
I'm kind of sad to see. I mean, it makes sense because I feel like we kind of had a logjam around the outfield a little bit in a sense, but I did like Victor Reyes. I don't know what it was. He was like a very calm, collected guy that could somewhat hit, could somewhat play outfield, could somewhat run. He could somewhat do everything.
Yeah,
Really,
but
and it was fun to watch, in my opinion.
couldn't
sometimes.
do one thing enough for Scott Harris. My question is mostly why wasn't it Badu? I think the answer is because Badu's younger, has a higher ceiling, but yeah, sad to see him go. Let's look at like what he's given us, what he has given the Tigers since he's been with us. I mean, okay, not great since 2019. That was his only above average year. So I guess I get it if you're adding everything together. It's a lot of games actually. Close to 400 games. Below average hitter. I get it.
I mean, 264 batting average, I don't think it's that bad for just a backup guy.
No, I wouldn't say it is, but if you're looking at
Really,
guys,
higher though than for this year.
if you're looking at guys like Akil Badu and Willie Castro, you don't really have a need for Rays, I don't think.
Yeah, no, I said there was kind of a log jam there, but like I kind of like the presence of Victor Reyes.
The next guy that got cut, another kind of big guy, is Daz Cameron.
Another outfielder.
Another outfielder. He came over in the Justin Verlander trade, so I think we still have both the other pieces in Jake Rogers and Franklin Perez. Last time I heard, we have Franklin Perez still. I was surprised on this one because I think he has a higher ceiling than Badu is, but I guess he really just doesn't control the strike zone, which I guess is enough for Harris to let go of a guy like that.
I mean, that's what he said his game plan is going to be, his strategy of building a team and what he wanted to see. So, I mean, it makes sense in his philosophy of baseball, I guess. But I think the same thing, I mean, I don't know the age comparison between Cameron and Badu, but I know Badu has MLB time. Cameron does have a little bit, but not much. And I think they're relatively the same player, kind of. Would you say so? They're kind of the same mold, at least.
Yeah, I'd say they're pretty close. Cameron's probably a better outfielder.
Yeah, maybe.
How old is Cameron? 25. So he's older than.
Pretty old.
Yeah, he's older than Badu is.
Yeah, so I think it makes sense to keep Badu over Des Cameron then. I mean,
Cameron had more power, but Badu controlled the strike zone more. He drew more walks.
but I wouldn't even say really Cameron has that much power anyways to win him over.
No, but that was like the selling point on Cameron is that he had like so much potential power.
Yeah.
Plus, his dad's name kind of helped him out a lot with Mike Cameron being who he was. Got a few more moves, not as notable. The next biggest one I'd say is probably Brian Garcia. He was the closer for Gardenhire towards the end of his time with the Tigers, I guess. I don't have anything against the rest of these cuts. I don't think that Brian Garcia should be around still. He was our 6th round pick in 2016. We drafted him, I think, as a reliever, which is never. I mean, my philosophy is if you have enough starters, you have enough relievers, especially because you get a guy like Fulmer who's just better out of the bullpen. What do you got on Brian Garcia?
I don't know, man. Fulmer was pretty good as a starter, I thought.
He was.
That was the year he won Rookie of the Year.
He was, but then especially after
his
Tommy
injuries.
John.
Yeah, after
It's
Tommy John.
it's I think it's risky in general to sign a closer unless he's like elite.
But yeah, I kind of agree with like your philosophy. You know, if you have enough starters, you have enough relievers or whatever. Because I mean, if you just straight up don't even have the arm to go extended periods at all, out of college or high school even, then I don't know how well it's going to translate to the MLB in a sense.
A lot of teams now, ours included, are looking at getting more innings out of their relievers too. That was a big thing Hinch said going into this year was like, we're going to need to start
Like
pushing
5,
guys.
6.
Well, not even that, but like 2 over 1 even, you know, like 2 innings over 1. And
yeah, I was saying like push the starter like 6 and then that's it.
I mean, yeah, I guess it depends on the guy too. Like,
I don't even know how many times our starters went over 7 innings this year.
if Scooble's shoving, you're not going to pull him in the 6th to get your bullpen.
Well, yeah, but I don't even know how many times do you think our starters went over 7 and above? Because I feel like they got pulled pretty early all year.
Out of the 162, maybe 30.
Do you think they went over 7 or above 6 or 30 times?
I think so. Between Scooble, Manning, Erod had some good starts in there. Mize at the beginning of the year.
I don't know if there was that many.
I know Brisky won a couple times. Even Garrett Hill, his first start, went 7. I know that. So I think that actually. I don't know that. But that's another thing about the pitching is like even with a guy like Garrett Hill who didn't really have that great of a fastball. Once he got kind of pushed into the long relief slot that he's like, all right, I can reach back, get a little extra on there. So yeah, not terribly sad to see Brian Garcia go. Didn't really produce, so what are you gonna do? The next guy was another pitcher, another starter. He was the player to be named later in the Justin Upton trade, Elvin Rodriguez. I'll let you go first since I know you're not incredibly hot on this guy.
I don't even know. I don't remember anything about him anymore. I'm gonna be honest.
I think his most notable performance was when he was tipping pitches, which is not a great reputation.
I do remember that. I forgot it was him.
Yeah, that was.
But I do remember our pitcher tipping pitches.
I mean, I don't really know what I think about this one. It seems like we have a good amount of starting pitchers, and it's like there's more definitely on the way with some guys we'll talk about later, or a guy we'll talk about later for sure. I don't necessarily think he fit long term, so I'm not overly sad to see him go. Got anything else on the last 2 guys?
Didn't we just sign Luis Castillo this year, like during the season, from like the Reds?
Yeah, something like that.
I think it was the Reds.
Thought
he was gonna be all right. Like I thought he was.
Yeah, I'll go over this next guy and then we'll just kind of brush over the last 3. Luis Garcia. He did not elect free agency. He's the only player not to elect free agency. He's our number 23 prospect. Yeah, we'll take another shortstop prospect, I guess. What's it going to hurt? I mean, especially now that he's not on the 40-man. I don't have super high hopes, but why not, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah. Jermaine Palacios, picked him up off waivers this year. He was, I think, our number 27 prospect or something. He is gone. He elected free agency. Luis Castillo, the 30-year-old debut for the Tigers this year. We signed him to a minor league contract. He's gone. Josh Lester, the third baseman, who really just had an unfair shot. It was 3 games or something like that. 13th round pick in 2015. They're all gone. You got anything on the last 3 guys? Because I really don't.
No, I mean, you always have more than me on these guys like this. I mean, so if you don't know much, I definitely don't know much. I know that.
I am a prospect guy, but I mean, I know Josh Lester had a good year in the minors, I think, but he really had an unfair go at it. It wasn't fair to him to only get called up for 3 days or whatever until I think Miggy came back. It's what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's tough.
We did pick somebody up. I know this guy got some starts this year. I don't know exactly what we're gonna get out of him. Andy Ibanez for the Texas Rangers. I think they're kind of making room for Josh Jung, I would assume. He this year had a bad year. In I don't know why it's not showing me games. In 40 games, he hit .218 with a .237 on base and a .227 slugging, 551 OPS plus, OPS 59 OPS plus. Even in a down year across the league, he was bad. In 2021, in only 76 games, 277 batting average, almost 280, 321 on base with a 435 slugging for a 756 OPS. From everything I'm seeing, he's a hit to contact guy. I'm assuming that's why they like him. I don't really know. Sure, maybe he can be a guy off the bench if someone like Harold Castro or Willie Castro were to go. I don't really know what I think about this move. I think it's early to tell. What do you got on this guy?
I mean, it can't be a horrible signing. I mean, his first year in the majors,
it was productive.
Productive. Not obviously the second year, not as much. But I mean, we've seen. I guess our scouting department and Scott Harris has seen enough upside to sign him.
Yeah.
So I mean, I trust in him.
Yeah.
Until he ruins my trust eventually, maybe.
Harris,
but we'll find out.
I think he's definitely smarter than Avila was.
Oh yeah, I hope so. God, if you're worse than Avila, I don't even want to associate myself with you. I don't even want to think.
If he's worse than Avila, he shouldn't get another job in baseball. I'm gonna be honest.
If he's worse than Avila, he should just be fired within a year or 2, not ruin the next 10 years of our lives.
Yeah. I have high hopes for him. I think he'll be good.
I think he'll be better than Avila at least. I hope so.
Yeah.
I was not very fond of Avila. I know we've talked about it a couple times, even off camera, and I always argued with you about how dumb he was.
Yeah, that was kind of the reason I asked you to do the podcast with me, is because you knew enough about Al Avila to be like, all right, I actually know what I'm talking about. There was another guy too, and I like that person if you're watching, which you're not. But it's Isaac, man. I can't do that to you.
What?
There's another guy who, the same night that we talked about that, I could have chosen, but
sorry, guy.
First round pick.
I'm sorry, guy.
There is going to be more cuts, and sooner than you think, because on Tuesday, I believe, is the Rule 5 draft. Anybody who is eligible and doesn't get put on the 40-man roster is eligible to get drafted. That's how we got Victor Reyes. So there are good players in this draft. we have 5 notable guys that we can talk about, and as well as some players that might get cut to make room for these guys. Austin Bergner, he's a relief pitcher. I think he's having a pretty good go at the Arizona Fall League. I think we talked about him last week, didn't we? Probably.
I think so, maybe.
Juancillo Perez. I mean, that's been kind of your guy since the first episode, right?
Yeah, I think I talked about him a little bit the first episode. There was someone else I talked about in the first episode. I don't remember who.
Parker Meadows. He's kind of my guy. Reese Olson. Got him in the Daniel Norris trade. He's looking to be a pretty good starting pitcher. And Andre Lipsius, second, third baseman. Yeah, I don't really know. We'll go piece by piece and make a decision on each one. Keep or I guess not, and allow them to be Rule 5 eligible. First guy I think is no question Parker Meadows. This year in total, which was between Advanced A and AA, he hit 270 with a 346 on base, 473 slugging with a 819 OPS. I mean, he's my guy. He should definitely start the year in AAA. I say we make room for him.
Why not? I mean, you only have so many people you can put on there, and I think he's, out of the people that I can think of or that we're seeing, I think he's one of the better ones, at least to...
Especially when there's definitely some more people that are going to get cut at some point.
Oh, yeah, probably.
And we'll talk about some potential candidates here in a minute.
I'm actually excited to see one of them.
Juancillo Perez.
Keep.
I kind of knew you were going to lean.
Look at his stats, dude. His stats are pretty good.
He has rigged this year.
He's really good.
Between, again, Advanced A and AA. Honestly, should start the year in AAA as well. 295 batting average, 369 on base, 534 slugging for a 902 OPS. He hit better in those two than Parker Meadows did.
I'd save him. If I had to choose between him and Parker Meadows, I'd save him or choose him. That's me. That's me.
Fight you about that. I would take Meadows because Meadows is kind of my guy.
I know you like Meadows, but I don't know. From what I read about Juancillo Perez earlier this season, I don't know. I kind of liked him. And when I looked at his stats now,
better in AA than he was in West Michigan.
That's good then. I'd say, wouldn't you?
14, I'd say so.
Shows a little bit growing up, I guess.
How many home runs did he hit this year? I wonder. 14. How many did I already X'd out? Well, I guess we'll never know.
I think he was the guy that had his only downside was power.
Meadows?
Not Meadows.
Perez. He
Perez.
was. He's.
I think he was the guy that had
mostly known as
downside.
a second baseman
and solid Was he the solid contact speed guy? Or was that someone else? I can't think of who his.
Especially. No, that was it. That's him.
Then he's the guy I liked. Well, I know he was.
I'm trying to think.
Him, but...
Maybe watch out for a late call up next year.
For Perez?
Yeah.
September?
Especially earlier than that. I think maybe if Scope has a decent year and we get rid of him at the trade deadline, you could see Juancillo Perez step up, get some at bats.
Maybe.
I wouldn't put it past anybody if he's playing well and he's not necessarily the highest touted prospect. Why not give him a shot?
If we're doing all right next year around the trade deadline and Scope's having an all right year, trade him or keep him.
Trade him.
Even if we're doing good?
I think so.
What if we're on pace to fight for a wild card? We're in the conversation.
I don't think that next year's the year that we're gonna spend at the deadline because that's not the goal.
No, I'm not saying spend, but I'm saying, would you rather sell or just retain and fight for the wild card?
I think that
we
trade Scope because he's out of his contract at the end of next year. Next year isn't like the year that like that's like when we're making a run for it. Scope isn't necessarily like that. He isn't the guy, you know. I think it could go to a variety of different players that could like make as good of an impact as Scope would. Where do you stand
Defensively,
on
I
that?
don't know.
Maybe not defensively, but I think
Offensively,
from what I'm
yeah.
seeing from Juancio Perez, it's a lot better than what Scope is doing.
I mean, they're not comparable.
No, I understand.
Double
Especially if we're looking towards the future, Juancio Perez is 22, going into his age 23 season. Scope's what, 31? Something like that.
He's older, obviously, but I'm gonna be honest. Juancio Perez is good, but I don't know if his defense would ever live up to Scope's defense, especially this young.
No, but I'd take a hitter with poor defense over a defensive guy with poor hitting.
I mean, I guess because a lot of the game is offense now.
Unless it's like catcher or maybe shortstop. Those are the two positions where I would look and be like, okay.
I think shortstop and second base though are interchangeable. Of which I feel like you have to have one
I don't think
good
so because
of either.
well, yeah, but I think with
That's
shortstop, it's like more of a high demand because you need the range of a second baseman and you need the arm of a third baseman. More or less.
I
Um,
guess.
All right, I think I know your final decision.
On
Keep.
him? Yeah.
Obviously,
I
I'm
said that in,
going.
like, the first
I'm
2
going.
seconds.
I'm gonna go keep too. Now this guy is interesting. Andre Lipsius. Between AA and AAA this year, he hit 277 with a 391 on base percentage and a 435 slugging for a 826 OPS. My question is, what did he do in Toledo? Because if he did well in Toledo, he had a better year in Toledo than he did in AA. Okay.
Dang.
Yeah,
Keep.
I'm on board. Keep.
He's pretty. He's decently young.
We may have a problem. Well, I don't know. It doesn't look awful. That might have just been his. Man, he's young-ish. He's relatively new. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Last year didn't have the greatest of years, but if he's doing it this year, I don't see a reason why we don't give him a chance. Which is tough because I like both the next guys too, meaning there's going to be some cuts for sure. Watch out though, if there's one of these 5 guys that are...
Oh, I think we should definitely keep Reese Olson.
I think so too.
Oh my god, man. Finish what you were saying.
I think if there's one guy that Scott Harris looks at and is like, I can only make room for 4 of you, Lipsius is probably the guy to go.
Didn't we just get him?
We drafted him probably 2020, I think.
Oh, I thought he was someone that we just got. You think he's the one to go?
Over
Because
who else
he's-
are you gonna choose though?
Because he's the oldest, or?
Just I don't know that he has the highest ceiling. Oh, we can look at the prospect rankings too. Juancio Perez, number 14.
Whoa.
Low. Look at the guys ahead of him, bro. All those guys are like legit high touted prospects. I think that's right. Meadows 16. I don't think I can argue because Juancio Perez is having a better year. Lipsius 22. Okay, sure.
Didn't you have Luis Garcia on there too?
Yeah, but he's not Rule 5. He was in one of the cuts.
Oh. I just remember seeing his name.
Where's Reese Olson?
He's up there. He's in the top.
Number 9. So this is a guy that I think a lot of people believe in, myself included.
Yeah, I was looking at his stats. They don't.
In AA last year.
They haven't been amazing.
Have not been amazing. 4.14 ERA in 26 games, 25 of which he started. 1.22 WHIP. Last year in High A, in how many games? In 2 games.
Oh, 2 games.
But he didn't give up a run, and
So it doesn't count.
I mean, I think it counts for something.
A pat on the back?
Sure. I think keep because I think that there's definitely something there.
I mean, if he's the 9th rated prospect in our system, then
There's
I feel
gotta
like
be,
you
right?
have to say keep, in a sense.
I don't know how you can get rid of a guy that is like this highly touted. It was
I mean, he's
no,
decently
this
young.
is only his second year. This was his first full year in the majors. He got drafted last year out of Wisconsin. So yeah, bro. Or wait,
I don't think
never
so.
mind. Drafted 2019. Okay, so this is his second full year. So in general last year, 3.96 ERA between high A to double A. It's looking better. The whip still kind of scares me. We agree on keep for Reese Olson.
Yeah.
This last guy, he's a relief pitcher. He is our
He was up there, I think, wasn't he?
number 15
15.
prospect. So it goes Wencio
Wow.
Perez, Austin Bergner, and Parker Meadows. I don't know. I don't necessarily know what I think about this guy. Besides, I think he's going to be a really good reliever. If we're looking at his stats this year between Double A and Triple A, 3.47 ERA. In 27 games, 26 started. Maybe I was looking at somebody else. So he is a starter actually. Interesting. 1.15 ERA. I like that. Or WHIP. I like that. Not a bad year. Didn't do well in AAA. So he's definitely probably another year away in my opinion. But
Yeah, but what I'm looking at right now, other than AAA, is even in 2019, I don't even like these lower leagues or whatever,
Yeah.
rookie ball and low A or whatever. I mean, those are not that good.
he's done well the last couple of years. How many games in? Okay, so 19 of the games were in Double A, and then they moved him up for his last 8 games in Triple A. So I don't know that we can read too much into the Triple A. I think I gotta go keep.
How many are we allowed to keep? I don't even remember. How
As
many
many as-
openings do we have?
Right now 0. That's why we need to cut people to make room for him.
Okay. Well, out of all the guys that we're talking about cutting, then probably keep over them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
keep, I guess.
Yeah. I like all these players enough to keep them, I think. All right, I'll let you go first. You got a list of people you want to cut?
I mean,
You're just looking at my list?
yeah, I'm just looking at your list, and there's obviously
All right,
That
I know
one.
you're passionate about one of these people.
that one guy.
We'll save that. We'll save him for last because I think he has probably the highest ceiling out of everybody except maybe one person.
I think one guy has higher.
Are you looking at this guy?
No, you didn't even write him.
You think this guy does?
Yeah.
Wow.
I like him more than the other guy.
Miguel Diaz, he's a relief pitcher. If we're looking at his stats in a minute, he had a good year this year in only 3 games though, so I don't know how much I'm going to look into that. For his career, he has pitched with the Padres in the majors. He's 27 years old. He has 1 save, but overall for his career, he's got a 5.37 ERA in 75 games, 112 innings. 1.4 whip.
He's old, hit the chopping block.
Yep, I don't see a reason to keep him around. The next guy we just picked up off waivers, but I don't necessarily
9.3?
know. I don't necessarily know why. Last year was his first year in the majors. He's 25.
25?
A 9.3 ERA in 14 games. Why do we have this guy?
His projections for 2023 are to have a 4.67 ERA.
Why do we have this guy? Okay.
I don't know. Maybe he dominates the strike zone.
If he dominates the strike zone, that's great. I don't want him.
Maybe he does.
This guy I do want, but I definitely think he's on the chopping block. I want this guy to stay. I see something in him. In Angel de Jesus.
I remember watching him.
Yeah, I mean,
at Miggy's 3,000 hit game.
if you're looking at his time in
Pretty
Detroit
sure you pitched that game.
so far, I think he did.
I'm pretty sure you pitched the end.
He has a
Pretty good.
2.13 ERA in 8 games. Small sample size, but he's still at least doing it. 1.026 whip. I think we should keep him.
Well, I think we should keep him too, actually.
But I definitely think that he's potentially on the chopping block. And this is why I don't necessarily believe we need to go out and get a reliever this offseason, because even like we talked about all the relievers a couple episodes ago when we were doing the future of the bullpen. We didn't even mention this guy, and he has been sick in these 8 games.
Yeah, I mean he's been solid. I can't complain too much with the stats and what I've seen from him, even in person or on TV. I mean, he's been solid.
So those are the 2 pitchers I think we should cut, with a guy that I think is potentially on the chopping block, but I would like to see back next year, probably in a depth role, because our bullpen is just that good to where I think this guy would be like the 5th best reliever in the Phillies bullpen. I don't think that's too far off. Their bullpen wasn't good, honestly. I mean, Brogdon and Bellotti were both good, but I think DeJesus, if he had time to like present himself, people would be like, "Whoa, where'd this guy come from?" You know what I mean? Or he could fall flat. I don't know.
I mean, his minor league stats over 6 seasons are very solid.
Yeah, dude.
305 is his average.
Yeah, dude. That's what I'm saying. I think this guy is like definitely a hidden gem that we got. Nobody knows about this guy.
His AA stats are a .6. Oh, never mind. It's a 0 ERA through 9 games.
Enough said. Is he only a reliever though? That's the other thing. Pretty much hasn't started since 2018. I'm fine with that. I don't necessarily need. Oh wait, no. He did start 3 games last year. I don't need him to be a starter.
No, you don't need him to be.
I like him in the bullpen for your Detroit Tigers in 2023.
Like starting out in the majors.
No, people are going to get hurt, and when they do, this is the first guy I'm calling to, unless Jason Foley's in the minors.
So you'd call him up first.
Yeah, I don't know anybody else who I would look at and be like, yep, this is a guy.
I mean, I'd probably agree, honestly. I don't know. I do like what I'm looking at though with him. He hit a gem.
Yeah, and that even when I was looking at the 40-man roster, I looked at him. I'm like, this guy seems like he should be on the chopping block, but I don't know what it is. I just like something about him.
His name.
Could be.
It's fun to say.
Could be. Man, I don't know what we're doing with this guy. Like, I get the point. He was supposed to be a depth piece last year. But Brendan Davis is our first hitter we'll talk about. There's actually no reason this guy shouldn't have been in Reyes' place or Cameron's place. He's 24. hasn't shown much in. I mean, I guess he had some good years in the minors. Hit well in AAA in 2021. He hit good in AAA this year, but I don't see him as anything more than a depth piece, honestly. Like, the types of numbers that he's putting up in the minors are the types of numbers you would like to see in the majors. And you know he's going to drop off. I mean,
He only has a 253 batting average in AAA and
yeah, he.
218 in AA.
I will say his on base is really good, so maybe that's something that.
On base percentage is important.
Maybe that's, yeah, I mean, it shows that he dominates the strike zone, so I guess that fits the criteria for Scott Harris's
Although
one
he wasn't-
statement that we dig into. A
He
lot.
didn't really get on base that well last year during the majors, at least.
No. How many games, though? Not very many.
No,
3.
no. Yeah,
No.
that doesn't count. That's not fair.
Better than Josh Lester, though, so. The next 3 people I have sentimental value to, and I'm trying to look past them. We'll go to Isaac's guy first, I guess. You can take this one away.
I don't even know what to say. Cody Clemens. I don't know. There's just I don't really care for him at all. His projections for 2023. I'm not even looking at his stats like last year because they're atrocious. But this year, his projections are a 209 batting average. A 209.
That's projected, though.
Yeah, it's
That's
projected.
based off of this, basically.
Yeah, because he did so bad. But he's already 26, about to be 27. His stats last year were literally a 145 batting average. How is that playable? How? What are his minor league stats? I mean, he had 5 home runs and 127 plate appearances.
That's not bad on the power standpoint. Like his slugging was not good, but I think that was a lot because his on base percentage wasn't good. For not getting on base at all, the slugging really isn't bad.
Dude's bad. What are his minor league stats? Do they even show him? Where is it? Does he even have minor league
He's
stats?
got pitching stats. Struck out Ohtani.
Yeah.
He's got a 1.03 ERA plus. He is above average pitching.
Maybe he should move to a pitcher. Be his father.
Roger Clemens, man.
I know.
Where
Be
is
his father.
his?
I don't even. Did he even play the minor leagues? What is this?
They just called him up straight out of college. I know he played at Texas.
What do he do? Play freaking.
Didn't do this.
What's that called?
Minor league stats. Here we go.
Blake Snell, Byron Buxton.
Don't. Can we? Are we right back where we started?
Yes.
I feel like this is important.
No minor league stats. Dude's that bad. They got rid of him. They're hiding him.
Got it.
Drafted in the 3rd round.
In the minors, let's see.
Wait, did I say drafted in the 3rd round by us?
Yeah,
What did it say about Houston? I seen something about Houston.
I don't know, man. Where?
Oh wait, how'd you get the minor league stats?
Just pulled it up.
What?
Why is it not averaging these?
His highest batting average ever is 284 in college.
He had a 862 OPS in Toledo last year. There's something in Cody Clemens.
I don't see it.
There's something
What
there.
is his batting average? Am I crazy? Why can't I see it? 274?
Yep, 274, 327 on base, 535 slugging. Sadly, I'd like to see Cody Clemens do well for us, but I don't think
Sadly, you want to see him.
But I don't see him fitting in with the long-term plan, and especially with what Scott Harris wants to do.
I just don't care for him. I don't know what it is.
The next guy is in a similar situation to Cody Clemens,
Right.
except for he doesn't have the power to show for it.
And I take him over Cody Clemens.
I would not.
Agree? You wouldn't agree, or
I wouldn't take him over Clemens.
I think I would. We just haven't seen enough of him in the majors, and maybe it's for a reason.
I definitely think there's a reason behind that. This
He's played
year,
a little bit in the
Zach
majors.
Short in
9 at bats, batted 0.
last year with the Tigers in 61 games.
Yeah,
141 batting average.
I didn't realize he was that old. I thought he was younger than that.
No. I like Short. I hosted the Compound Pod. You should come on. That'd be cool.
Wasn't he supposed to be like?
Not host. That's Ian Happ. I'm sorry.
Wasn't he supposed to be like really good for us like a couple years ago?
I don't necessarily think so. I think he was in the same position that like Andre Lipsius was in.
I thought he was like a top 30 prospect for us. Like,
He was, but he wasn't.
top 15 or something.
I think he might have got to 25. I like Shorty.
Really?
I would like to see Shorty on the team, but when there are priorities for the younger and better players, I don't know that there's anything anybody can do to save Zach Short.
I changed my answer. I choose Cody Clemens over him.
No,
I thought
we
thought he was younger.
The last guy is somebody that I don't think will go. Same sort of thing with DeJesus, except for I like DeJesus more, I think.
Than him?
I think so. I don't know. He can change that this year.
I don't know. I feel like I still like him more than
Akil Badu,
Jesus.
I would like to see on the chopping block because, like, not necessarily go. I just want to see him like get that threat of like.
Yeah, but sometimes
Step it
players
up.
get pissed off at that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but what's he knows that he's not performing. He knows it.
yeah, but you don't need to rub it in his nose.
No, I'm not.
Just rub it in his face. Rub it in his nose.
Um,
Rub it in his face. You're not playing good. You're gonna get kicked off the team.
So, I'm just saying, if you're gonna pick another guy in our system that's on the chopping block, besides the guys we've named, instead of Akil Badu, who are you choosing?
I don't know. Give me some names.
Let's look at the 40 men. You can't pick a pitcher because like that's a whole different ballpark. You know what I mean?
All right, Justin Verlander. I was gonna. Never mind. Tarek Skubal, you gotta go.
So, let's see. You can't get. I don't personally think you can get rid of Papierski because right now he is our Dustin Garneau. If one of these guys goes down, he's gone.
Garneau at? Oh
He retired.
Or not Garneau. Never mind. I'm crazy. I was gonna say
Barnhart.
Dinger, but
Engler.
yeah, he's not.
He's just young.
Too
Yeah,
young.
Javi
Baez gotta go. Cut him.
talked about most of these guys. I don't know that you can get rid of anybody that we haven't named. Especially, you can't just cut Candelario. I think you just non-tender him, which I think will happen.
All right, I think that's everyone.
Well, outfielders and DH. The only person even in the running I would say is, I guess, Candelario or Willie Castro.
I guess we do.
Again, not saying he needs to go in place for any of those guys, but I think if you're throwing another potential name out for each position between like pitcher and hitter, DeJesus is probably the guy for pitchers, and Badu's probably the guy for hitters. That's all the moves that will happen or maybe will happen and have happened.
Will happen.
I'm assuming we'll see next week what happened. Like we'll be able to follow up next week, unless something.
Where'd your
crazy.
list just go?
I deleted it. Wait. Oh no. Just did a bad thing. Okay.
I was like, where'd the young players just go?
All right, now me and Isaac are gonna play general manager.
Oh yeah.
We are gonna go over our off-season plans. I'm gonna throw Isaac into the ringer because I know he's only got one, but it's kind of jumbled. We're gonna make we have made one realistic plan, and one more out there, but still has to be somewhat realistic. We're not getting judged, so.
I wouldn't necessarily say I split them up. I just kind of threw them all together.
All right, throw some of give us your unrealistic first, and give us like your big name guys that you're planning to get back if you were Scott Harris and you were like, all right, it's time, we're gonna go crazy.
Unrealistics first?
Yeah, give me your unrealistics first of some guys that you would sign. How would they slot in?
Wait, realistic or unrealistic?
Give me your unrealistic, so it's like the guys that are
The
good.
expensive guys.
Yeah, the expensive guys, and tell me how they would slot in and who would have to move for these people.
Justin Verlander.
All right. I think that's pretty self-explanatory where he
I love
fits
Justin
in.
Verlander.
I mean,
I don't know. Kick anyone out. I don't care who it is. Verlander.
if you're looking at the rotation, it'd be Verlander, Erod, Turnbull, Skubal, Manning. You wouldn't necessarily need to unless. Yeah, you honestly wouldn't really need to. That's a really solid starting five.
Yeah, because Skubal won't be back by the start of the year either.
Okay, then Joey wants Alex Vallejo, Obrisky.
I don't know. Just choose Verlander over any of them.
Yeah, sure.
Any of them. My next unrealistic, I guess, would be Longoria.
Evan Longoria.
I don't know what it is. I've just always liked Longoria. Since he was in Tampa Bay.
He's Mr. Ray, Loki, because they just haven't been around that long. But yeah, I like Longoria. I like the idea.
And we need a third baseman. I think we need a third baseman.
Okay, can we just settle right now that Candelario is most likely going to get non-tendered?
I'm praying.
You underrate him so much, but also I don't think that he's in the long-term plans realistically. So
I don't think I underrate him. But Longoria fit into that third baseman slot. Honestly, I think by far our weakest position is third base. It's not even close.
Weakest.
Our weakest link of our whole team is third base, no doubt.
I'd say last year maybe left field.
No. You're telling me you're taking Candelario over like
Meadows and Carey don't count because Meadows didn't play and Carey was right.
Okay, even Willie Castro.
I'd take Candy over
Eric Haas in left field.
He didn't play hardly any left field last year.
Okay, but he can. I'm saying even if you're looking at
statistically last year, Candelario was better both offense, like if you're combining offense and defense, than Jonathan Scope was.
I'd keep Scope than Candelario.
Well, you have to. There's no choice.
Well, I'm choosing Scope over Candelario no matter what.
That should have been a player versus player because I would have fought you all day. And the statistics
make it next week.
Prove me right. I don't have enough to do anymore. There's nobody left. We're doing it right now. We already know. I'm choosing Candy. You're choosing Scope.
I'm choosing Scope.
And I'm right.
I'm right. End of discussion. No, I choose Scope just because his defense is so much better than Candelario's.
But his hitting is so much worse.
Not really. They both had bad years.
Candelario put up half of a win more than Scope did. Scope was
in 1 year. Look at their career. His career numbers is a 20.1 WAR.
That's because he is like. That's not per year.
Okay.
That is
all right.
a combined.
Right. His average batting average is a 255.
His OPS plus for his career is a 97. Candelario's is a 98.
But look at the average batting average. It's off.
Who cares about batting average? It's about on base and slugging.
What's the Scope slugging? Probably not that good.
It's got to be similar. Scope slugging 401, 433.
Damn,
but
I'm actually surprised this is high.
Candelario gets on base more, which fits Scott Harris's profile more.
I'm taking Scope.
I know you are, but that is such a personal preference thing. Like statistically, I don't think anybody should take Scope over, especially when Scope's older too.
Now I'm taking Scope,
I know you are, but you're wrong.
but I'm not. I don't think so.
Keep going with your offseason plans. Longo at third base.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. Realistic? Probably not. But
I think he's old. He's still productive, but he's old. I think he's at a point in his career where he wants to go somewhere that will win.
all right, the next unrealistic I'd say is probably Christian Vasquez. Even though I don't really think we really need a catcher, but could be possible.
I think it definitely could be possible, and I don't think that's that unrealistic, honestly.
You know,
don't
I
think
feel like
so.
I was looking at the catchers list that you were showing me, and he was pretty high up there, so I figured it might be a little unrealistic.
Catching is thin though, because it's like Wilson
Yeah.
Contreras and then everybody else.
But Christian Vasquez, I watched him. In the Red Sox. He played on the Red Sox.
He's proficient. He's
What
kind
other
of like
teams has he played for? I don't even remember.
he's been with the Red Sox until he got traded to the Astros this year.
Yeah, I don't know. When
He's
we
a
played
World
against
Series
him-
champ.
Yeah, sign him. We need that.
He can handle a pitching staff. I know that. No,
Exactly.
I'm not off board with that idea. But when you have Jake Rogers
Yeah.
and Eric Haas, I think you go with your internal options and spend
Well-
that money elsewhere. But I'm not against that.
But I'm saying, but listen, since we just got rid of Reyes, that opens a spot in the outfield. You can put Haas in the outfield, maybe Rogers at catcher or Vasquez at catcher, and switch them,
I'm not against that idea.
and have Kerry Carpenter be DH or sometimes play left field.
So, you're selling me on this idea more and more, but I'm sticking with if we're gonna spend money, we should spend it elsewhere.
I don't think.
But I like.
How much money do you think he'd be though? Like really expensive?
Let's see what he
I can't
got.
imagine being too much, right?
Let's look at what he got last year.
Well, last year it's probably going to be more. He was younger.
Signed a 3-year, 13 mil. So what's 13 divided by 3? Average annual salary of $4.5 million. So even if it's less, it's still going to be like 3 mil.
That's not that bad.
No, like I said, I'm not against Vasquez. I like Vasquez, and I would like to see him as a Tiger. But with my list, I don't necessarily. He might fit on my realistic list. I'm okay with that. I like that. You thought out of the box more than me, I think, with that pick.
Really? I don't know. I don't know. I've always liked him just as a catcher in general. So, I mean, I was okay with it when I seen his name. I thought that'd be interesting to see.
Especially getting back with Erod.
Yeah. That was his best years of his career, wouldn't you say?
The last year of the Red Sox probably was his best, I'd say. But even then, he still put up like a 4.04 ERA.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that amazing, but
No.
it was all right, I guess. But I don't know, especially with our versatility, I'd say at a catcher position with like Haas playing outfield and just going back and forth and switching our DHs around. Maybe Haas can play DH, Kerry Carpenter can play left field, and then maybe Kerry Carpenter play DH, Eric Haas in left field, and then maybe Jake Rogers needs a day off, so Eric Haas can play catcher.
Well, you
Christian
could do-
Vasquez can play bench
You could
or DH.
You could you definitely have like different catchers for different guys. I think without a doubt,
you can.
Vasquez could you could do
Yeah.
let's say you had 5 catchers, right? You could do like Haas with Verlander, and that's just like his catcher,
Yeah.
and then
Some
or
guys
like-
just work better together. It's
and then maybe like Rogers and Manning with Skubal and Turnbull and Erod with Vasquez. I wouldn't be opposed to them. And even if Verlander doesn't, okay, you can throw Haas with. You should throw Haas with Turnbull because they threw a no-hitter
Okay.
together. You can throw Vasquez was with the Astros. You throw Verlander with Vasquez.
I'm telling you, it's not that bad of an idea.
Man, you are selling me on
Especially
this
if you get
more.
Verlander as well.
You
but
are
it's
selling me
impossible.
on this more and more.
I'm telling you, it's not that bad of an idea. I
No,
definitely don't
it's
think
not.
it is.
It's not. You're selling me on it more and more. I think that if we're gonna sign an out of the box guy, Vasquez needs to be that guy.
I'm honestly, I think he's only up here and even in the top of my mind for this just because Eric House can play left field. If Eric House couldn't play left field, I would say no. You shouldn't do it.
My question for that: how does that affect Dylan Dingler down the stretch?
I mean, Christian
Sure.
Vasquez is somewhat old. He's like 31, I think, or 30.
Yeah, I mean, you could trade him again.
Yeah, maybe down the line. I mean, maybe Dingler.
Should
probably isn't even going to be up until at least maybe next year.
No, I think without a doubt he'll get some time next year.
So I mean, you have versatility to see which of the three catchers at least you could infuse into your long-term plans. I guess.
Yeah, well, I don't necessarily think that Vasquez would be a long term.
Probably
I think
not.
we give him a 1-year deal.
Probably. I think it would be 2 or 3.
I mean, 1 year with a club option for year 2. How about that?
All right. And then I think the next guy I think is maybe
I
somewhat
was about to say
realistic.
you better put this guy in the unrealistic category.
Profile?
No,
Boyd.
dude.
Which one? JD?
Yeah,
You think so?
you think that we're getting JD back when we're paying Miggy to be a DH a third
Yeah,
of the
but
time?
JD Martinez is a much better batter right now.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's not, but when you have Miggy who's going to get time at DH, Haas who, like you said, is going to get time at DH, Miggy's going to play once,
Carpenter.
Carey and Austin Meadows, plus you can throw in a rest day. Like Javi might not necessarily get days off as opposed to put him at DH for a day. Because that's what a lot of teams are doing, is using the DH spot as a rest position.
Yeah.
So I don't think that we want another.
I just
another
like to see him back in Detroit because I liked him when he was in Detroit.
I would too, but I think Carey could be
The next
the
version
next
of him.
JD. Yeah,
I can see it honestly. I can see it. I can see it.
You got your Upton or Cespedes, I guess, with
I forgot about Cespedes.
with Meadows. You got your
Such a
Austin
short
Jackson with Ryan.
career.
Dude, we got our core back. We got
No, we don't.
we got our new core.
You can try all you want. It's not the core. It's not. It's not even close. That core was fun.
That core
and
was
winning.
fun. That core was really fun. All right, now hit us with your realistic.
Would you say Profar's realistic?
I think so.
Really? Oh.
Hit us with your realistic. So, if we're going over your plan, all right, Verlander slots in, Longoria slots in. You get Vasquez and JD, which is just wild. That's just wild.
Oh yeah. By the way, there's a lot of homer picks. It's kind of biased, I guess, in a sense.
So that's
I realize
that's an interesting makeup.
There's already 2 former Detroit Tigers, I think, out of the people I named, right? Verlander, JD.
Yeah, and then I'm looking at 3 more.
Yeah, exactly. I told you.
They're not that far off.
I think they're all doable.
They're all doable.
I think those are probably the most realistic ones to happen.
All right.
One of them a lot more than the others.
Hit us with your realistic plan, and I'm gonna include Vasquez because I like that idea and I think it's realistic.
You're welcome. Profar.
Jurickson, Profar.
With Reyes gone, I mean, you could use another outfielder maybe.
Lefty. He can play infield. Yeah, sure.
I think it's doable.
I don't see a reason why not. Besides, he probably doesn't want to go to Detroit, and even if he does, are we going to dole out the cash to get him? My boy's cracked twice in that sentence. Twice.
I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if we even got him, but I mean, honestly, out of the realistic guys, I think he's the least realistic for us to get, in my opinion. I don't know.
I think there's another guy that's definitely less.
Boyd?
Nope, one below him.
Oh, really?
We'll get there.
Really? All right.
While we're on the topic of Matt Boyd, pretty much, so I would assume you're going to throw him in the... All right, what are you going to do with Profar first? Like, what's his role on this team?
I don't know. He can do whatever, really. He can be like our utility guy in a sense, kind of.
He can, but I don't know that he'll come to Detroit to be the utility guy.
No,
because
probably
if you
not.
are going with a mix of Haas, Rogers, and Vasquez at catcher.
Well, I thought we were going to where, like, unrealistic. Like, you're probably not getting him, so I thought we were going off of, like, realistically what the actual lineup could look like.
Okay, so do you not want to include Vasquez?
Well, if you think it's realistic, then keep him in there.
I think it is, but I don't know that.
But don't, like, include JD or any
No,
of
I'm
the
not
other
including those guys in.
unrealistic.
Yeah, no, I'm splitting them up, but I'm keeping Vasquez in there because I think that is more realistic than I thought.
Well, honestly, this is tough then because I really thought you were going to think that Vasquez was unrealistic for some
Alright.
reason.
We can leave him off if you want.
No, it's all right. But I think Profar can slide into any of the outfield positions decent, at least.
Yeah, he can play at least third base, or maybe I don't even know. When
And
he can play.
catchers can sometimes get like 2-day breaks, 3-day breaks for their knees to heal and stuff.
Yeah, that like I said.
Ice baths, and he can slide into left, so Kerry Carpenter can stay in DH, or Miggy, whoever's playing, and I don't know, maybe Riley Green goes down with an injury, he can slide in at center.
Ooh, I hate that.
Well, nobody wants Riley Green to get injured.
All right, keep going, and then I want you to give me. I'm gonna put you in an uncomfortable position after you finish your last two.
After I finish my last two of these
Or
guys,
last three. I'm sorry.
right. Matt
Boyd. Yeah. Okay, so he slots in where Verlander would, just
Probably.
another starting pitching role.
Probably. I really liked Matt Boyd. I was actually kind of sad when we got rid of him.
Yeah, but it's the same. It's the same sort of scenario as Candelario.
Yeah, but I think he was so much. I like him
Dude,
so much
you
more.
can't tell me that Boyd is better than Candy.
Yes, I can.
You
I like
are
Matt
on
Boyd.
copium, bro.
I go.
You are just coping.
I like Matt Boyd. He hit a home run.
That was Daniel Norris.
Oh yeah, it was Daniel Norris. I'm sorry. So that was Daniel Norris.
That was Daniel Norris.
You sure?
First MLB at bat. I was watching the game on TV.
I was too. Was it in Toronto or something? Or against
It was
Toronto?
Toronto. Nice job.
How did I know that, dude? I swear. Oh, dang. So I really mixed them up. Dang. Never mind. He didn't hit a home run. Not that it really mattered.
That you saying you want Matt Boyd because he hits a home run is like me saying I want Cody Clements because he struck out Ohtani. Except for mine's at least accurate.
Alright, well, obviously I was joking because he hit a home run. But I thought he was really good in Detroit, honestly.
Bro,
I thought he was good.
do we need to
Pull
pull
up the
Matt
stats. Pull up his Detroit stats.
Dude,
I wouldn't say he was amazing, but I don't think he was awful.
teaser, Boyd is on my realistic list too, but I think you are overselling right now.
Overselling what?
Matthew Boyd, just in general. I think he would be
Matthew
our
Boyd.
5 starter.
Why are you looking at boys?
He had a good year in the 10 games he pitched out of the bullpen in San Francisco this year.
Honestly, he doesn't even have to be a starter for us.
No, but if I were to get him, I would want him as a starter. We could move him later, like especially once like Skubal comes back. I'm not opposed to that, but let's see. If we average his time in Detroit, God, I hate that. Excluding 2015. 4.75 ERA. 1.3 WHIP. That's about what I expected.
I mean, the numbers I think are a little inflated than what I expected, but
Okay, that's not what I thought you were gonna say. I thought you were gonna be like, nah, he just got a bad rap, man. Like, no, that's not.
no, but he always started the seasons off really good, didn't he? He always started really good and then ended bad.
I mean, I guess.
If there's a
Started-
way for him to manage that,
Pull a Julio Teheran, start him twice, and then just never play him ever again.
exactly.
your
Then his stats are great. They'll look amazing. Big payday.
All right, I'm down with that. Your next guy.
You think this is unrealistic?
I don't think he's unrealistic. I don't think that there's if we're getting.
All right, you don't think there's a reason. I
Yeah,
understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that. But I personally just really like this guy. He was my favorite. I've said this. He was my favorite bullpen piece we had. Michael Fulmer. All right. I was kind of upset that we even got rid of him last year. But I mean, it made sense. But I mean, think about it. That'd be great. Trade him, get pieces, sign him again.
So, here's my question, and we didn't even get anybody for him, which is sad. Would you, if I were to chop a guy from our bullpen to make room for Fulmer, it would be Will Vest.
Yeah.
So you're okay with
I'd rather have
probably
Michael Fulmer.
probably DFAing Will Vest or sending Jason Foley down.
You can send Jason Foley down. I mean, that'd be okay.
I mean,
And then he could be the first guy to get called up for if anyone gets injured.
but I don't even know if he's going to make the opening day roster.
Who?
Foley.
Foley?
And DeJesus are definitely. I mean, Foley was kind of one of my guys, but DeJesus has grown on me. We have so many young starters who are going to be in the bullpen.
All right, my last guy. I picked this guy because you don't like Jonathan Scope. But honestly, there could be a world if we don't get Longoria or a third baseman, you can move Scope to third or Javi to third and then have Jose Iglesias play short or second or whatever you want him to play.
Yeah,
I like Jose Iglesias in Detroit. I really like his glove. His bat has definitely picked up, I think, in recent years compared to Detroit.
Sure.
I definitely think his bat's gotten a lot better. He's matured a lot, and I really like his personality on a team like Detroit in this stage of time. I think he has good character for the team. He's a funny guy. He's kind of like Andrew Chafin. I mean,
I wouldn't make that.
but he's funny. Jose Iglesias is funny.
Here's what I'll say about Iglesias. Who was the first guy Miggy went to after his 3,000 hit? Iglesias, because we were playing the Rockies, was right there.
Rockies, yeah.
Gave him a big hug. I like the idea of Iglesias, and I think it could work.
It's definitely doable. I mean, if you get rid of Candelario
Mike.
and say you don't sign a third baseman or any other infielders, you sign him. You can just slide Scope over to third or Javi over to third, and then slide him into short or second, however you want to do.
I'm interested to hear your full plan. I personally don't think that Javi at third is the move because of the throwing errors. I think that
Scope can play third. He's played great defense.
Yeah, he can.
I mean, second and third are completely different positions, but it's going to be better than Javi's errors.
I'm gonna ask you to do something uncomfortable. Give me like a.
Don't
do
that.
Oh my god.
Give me
Give me a 3-day series lineup. Like you're playing the Orioles. Doesn't matter about who you're matching up with. Give me your 3 days. So I'll help you.
Like 3 games?
Yeah, you just need 3 games of lineups that you're mixing in. So let's say you have each of your catchers playing 1 game at catcher, right?
All right, I have it. I'm solid.
All right. Start off. Game 1. Who are we going with? I would. Dear
Haas
God,
left.
Dear
No,
God.
Profar left.
Okay.
Green center.
Mm-hmm.
Meadows right.
Okay.
He's playing the start of the season, right? I think.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Torkelson first.
Yep.
Scope. Actually, no.
Javi second.
Javi second. Jose short. Scope third.
And you said Profar's in left, right?
Yeah, so I put Vasquez and
Vasquez
at catcher, and then Haas at DH.
So Carey's not playing game 1.
Not game 1.
Okay.
All right, second game.
I'll
left.
I'll help you with this. I would hope Riley Green's playing center.
He is
Okay.
Why the fuck would I need help with that? Haas left.
I have another recommendation for first base.
Not me.
No, Torkelson.
Oh.
At first?
I was about to say. Yeah. I thought you were confusing me. I
was giving you another obvious. Keep going. So you have Haas left.
So how do I have to do this? Just different.
Just make your lineups. Yeah. And then I'm gonna
just
pick
like they have to be one difference.
No, you don't have to make. You can make them all the same lineup for all I care.
Okay.
But I'll do that. I'll do this for me too.
Haas left.
Okay.
Riley Green center. Meadows right.
Let's go DH.
Miggy.
Okay.
Carey, and then Miggy third. just because
Miggy on the third day.
Yeah, probably because Miggy's venom.
Okay.
Carry DH, and then same infield. Actually,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
probably,
I don't
probably
see a
same
reason to
infield.
change the infield
Actually, maybe Harold Castro at third.
over Scope.
Maybe for one of the 2 games at least. I'd
Okay.
say.
I'm,
One
I'm-
of the 2
yeah,
games.
I'm actually down with that.
And then who I put Haas at left field. Wait, did I put Haas?
You put Hassan left,
Okay,
so you need a catcher and a DH.
I already said DH. Carey.
Oh, you did say Carey. All right. So
Catcher would be probably
Rogers.
Rogers, yeah.
I was about to say, unless you start Vasquez 2 days in a row.
I mean, he could, but Rogers, I'd say if Rogers is healthy, and he should make the opening day roster, right?
I'd say so.
All right, third day. I think you can go Profar left, Riley Green center, maybe give Austin Meadows the day off and give Willie Castro, right?
I think you have too many players if you add Willie. I don't think you can have Willie.
Okay, then wait, how?
If you got so you can have, let's say you can have 13 players on your hitting squad. You know, you got 3 catchers.
Yeah.
Miggy, your 4 infielders. That's 8. Then you have Green, Meadows, Carey, Profar, Harold. 13.
Damn.
I'll allow it. You can have an extra hitter over a pitcher. That's actually allowed. You just can't have over 13 pitchers.
Okay.
So
Willie Castro, right? Give Meadows the day off.
Okay.
I mean, he's better.
No,
He's better
I'm
there
open.
than left.
I'm open to it. And right?
I thought so, wasn't he?
I think personally he's better in left, but he's mostly
All right.
Keep going.
Him and Profar are interchangeable. It don't matter.
Okay.
Miggy DH.
Yeah.
Torkelson. And then back to the first day infield.
Okay.
So
And then your catcher would be, you going with Haas?
Haas.
I like it. I like that I do like it.
Honestly, in my opinion, you don't even really need Haas to run catcher at all this year.
I think you should.
You probably should, but I mean,
Especially
you could just
with
use.
Turnbull.
You could, yeah, but that's 1 in every 5 days.
Yeah.
But you could use the Vasquez Rogers matchup and just throw Haas at DH or left field.
Sure. I'm not opposed to that. I'm actually buying into this plan because I think it works out better than I first thought. But it would have to mean a lot of people don't make the roster.
I mean, some of those.
Badu, Kreidler.
I don't think Badu's really gonna even make it.
He might
I don't think Kreidler's gonna make it either.
He may. I don't.
I don't think so. Not opening day. I don't think.
All right. Well, I'm actually down with that idea. My lists are different, but also the same in a lot of ways. I'm gonna go with my big money plan. Verlander is the first guy. Obviously, he slots in. He's my one.
Don't have to say much.
No. Xander Bogaerts
Super unrealistic.
will be playing third base for your Detroit Tigers.
Love to see it.
Brandon
In
Nimmo.
2064.
Brandon Nimmo shifts Riley Green to right field and plays center field.
He plays center. Brandon
Nimmo is so good in center.
I think Riley Green's very good in center too.
He is good, but Nimmo is 2 tiers above him, I'd say.
All right. So then what's going on with Meadows?
So, all right, I'll make a plan for each of the days. My last guy,
Is Meadows gonna switch to left?
Meadows can play left, Carey can play some left, and both of them
I
can
feel
DH.
like Meadows
Austin plays
is almost an everyday guy though.
Yeah, if not, I think he's I think he's our majority DH. That's what I would do.
Meadows?
Yeah, because you have Miggy who's playing once a series.
So then they're having Carey mostly starting left.
Yeah, why not? Or fuck it, throw Riley in left, and then you have Carey in right. I don't know. No matter.
Do you think Meadows is a better defender or Carey?
I think they're both. I don't know. I'd say maybe Carey. I haven't seen enough of Carey's
If
defense.
if you think Carey Carpenter's a better defender, then sure.
Bogarts at third. You shift Javi to second, and you have. I would say you play for it. Realistically, like you can have Scope play for a spot, or Harold play for a spot at second, or short for Harold. I guess I would rather see him at second and Javi at short. How many guys does that bring me to? Especially so if you have
don't even think about that.
no.
No,
All right. Well then,
it's all right.
Kreidler could play some short because he's a good defender, and then you got your two guys at catcher. I'm interested. How would that work out? Two at catcher, Miggy. Your four infielders, Torque, Baez, Bogarts, Scope, Nimmo, Meadows, Carey, Green. Yeah. Harold and Kreidler.
What do you say, Kreidler?
I said Scope, I think. Either way, I'll be
I'm
under.
pretty sure Kreidler was like the first person you named.
Either way, I'll be under, I think.
Alright. I mean, I don't really. It doesn't bother me because injuries happen. Some people will be up and down all the season.
And my last guy is Jameson Tyone. He can fill in for Scooble to start the year if none of the kids look impressive, or we can move him into the bullpen, and I guarantee he'll be at least good. There will be some injuries. I like Jameson Tyone.
Yeah, two
That
pitchers, two batters.
Yeah. I did it a little differently. I just looked. I looked at positions that we needed.
That's what I did, and
I mean, third base. I'm solving with.
oh yeah, third base, 100%. But I was definitely going more offensive than pitching, just because we definitely need a lot more offense than pitching.
I think so too, but I wanted to get some depth. Verlander's. I mean, we agreed on Verlander. I'd like to get Tyone, who's a dependable guy who can eat some innings if worse comes to worse. You know.
Like the only guy in like other than Verlander, I think that I named was Fulmer. And Boyd, I guess.
Yeah, Boyd. But those were between two lists too. I did actually the same thing, 2 hitters, 2 pitchers as well. On my next list.
Yeah, I know, that's what I was looking at between both.
I didn't even, that was not on purpose. I was just like, yeah, let's run with that. My first guy, my hitter, Rougned Odor. He can play some second. He can play some third.
You back out Jose Bautista.
Keep him away from Jose.
Is Jose Bautista in the league?
No, I hope he retired for his sake. Yeah, that I like that
good.
Because then you can have something kind of like I was saying earlier with maybe like, I mean, Baez is in the lineup whether it's second and you have Kreidler at short or you have him at short. Scope can play second or third. Harold can play some second, third, or short, and Odor can get some time at second, third. They can all rotate in the DH spot too. My next guy, Robbie Grossman. I mean, I don't think it's too far off to see him come back. Maybe the Braves did some good for him. He comes back. He's revitaled.
I don't know. The end of his time in Detroit was kind of odd. It was strange.
Well, you wouldn't be looking at him to lead off every day too. When you have Meadows and Carey and Green, you would just be looking at him for
his
once
fall
a
off
series.
was crazy though. In my opinion, like he was so good.
Well, I
for
mean,
us the year before.
it was just like it was like the max to the minimum. Like he had his best year of his career, and then he had the worst year of his career, which you could say about Scope too, even, and maybe not Candy. He had a pretty rough 2016, but yeah, you have him play once, twice a series, depending on.
If we get the Robbie Grossman we had the first year, sure, 100%.
Even if we don't, a switch hitting corner outfielder who's gonna play once a series, sign me up.
I guess.
And he does command the strike zone. Now we'll go to the pitchers. Matthew Boyd, starting every 5 days for me, I guess. Or maybe not, because I'm also on board to get Dylan Bundy, because we need that depth.
Which one would you rather?
I think you could do like realistically, you could do like a piggyback situation. You have let's say it's a lefty heavy lineup, you throw Boyd out there for 4, then Bundy for 2 or 3, or vice versa.
You could.
But either way,
Interesting to see.
having those guys, even if they're just depth, even if they're just bullpen, take me. That was making
Take me.
We've been recording for a long time,
Yeah,
man.
it is this might be our longest one. It is 11 o'clock at night.
This has been a good one though. A lot of stuff happened this week. Talking about some stuff. That's my realistic, very hyper realistic guys that we can afford team. I put you in the position, so I'm gonna kind of wing it on this 3-day thing too, I guess, because we got 10 minutes till an hour 30.
Honestly, I liked my lineup.
I was surprised how well rounded yours really was.
I liked my lineup. I'm very impressed with myself.
So, all right. I'm going to start off with who do I start off with? I will go Rogers or Haas. I'll start with Rogers, day 1 at catcher. Miggy will DH for me on day 1. Torque, Scope at second. Javi at short. Odor at third. And then Green, Meadows, Carey is my outfield. That's not bad, I don't think. Not a bad day 1. Haas is not there. That's what I want to do. I'll talk about the 4 guys that aren't going to be there. Haas, Harold, Grossman, Kreidler are like the 4 guys that are not on, that didn't start game 1.
Oh.
So then game 2, I'll go with Haas at catcher. Rogers gets the bench.
I thought you were saying we're in the majors. I was like,
No.
Haas not in the majors? Are you okay?
No, they just aren't in the lineup game 1 of the series. Haas is throwing the catcher. I'll take Meadows at DH. And I'll go Torque, Scope, Javi, and Kreidler for game 2. Kreidler at short. I'll throw Javi at second, and Scope can go to third. And then Green, Grossman, and Carey can play outfield game 2. Meaning game 3, I don't.
So you're not including Brandon DeMel? No, I forgot.
So the people that haven't played is just Harold and let's see, Haas, Grossman, Kreidler. All
So
just Harold.
Willie's in the minors.
Yeah, Willie's gone. I'd take all these guys. Maybe not Rodor, but all the rest of these guys over Willie, long term.
Not Grossman. I wouldn't.
I think I would because he's more proven. Day 3, we'll go. What do I want to do day 3? We are back after some technical difficulties. Day 3 for me. We are going Haas or Rogers at catcher, depending on who, I guess, played 2 games the last series, and just alternate them. Then you have Meadows at DH. Or no, not Meadows. We'll go Odor at DH. Torque, Scope, Javi, and then Harold at third. Green, Meadows, Carey in the outfield. That is my day 3. Yeah, that's about it. You got anything on that?
No, I mean, I can see them all happening.
Yeah.
I think both of ours are pretty solid.
I'd say so.
We'll see. We'll see who they sign, and it'll be interesting what the lineups are going to be if they do sign them.
You got anything else for today?
Anyone like this? No, not really. I'm about to go watch the Israel Adesanya fight.
That's cool. Shout out to Abs. It's her birthday, so.
Yeah. Abs. Abigail Judd.
lives at. Just writes out her address.
Her phone number is.
That about does it, I guess. Still waiting on the email, but